Welcome to this week's episode of the Young Women in Politics podcast. Now, today we continue having a conversation with young women participating in the political space. Now, I don't have ordinary young women. I have two young women that hold very big positions, two young women with ministerial positions in student politics from the University of Zambia. Wow. Very interesting. But before we go any further, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast because every week we bring you interesting conversations with such brilliant young women that are participating in Zambian politics. Hi.
Hi,
Hi, Dalitso.
how are you?
And hi, Mampi. Yeah, I'm going to give you the floor to introduce yourselves because I feel like your titles and who you young women are, it needs a lot. So I'm going to give you, I'll allow you to please introduce yourself. We'll start with you, Dalitso.
Hi everyone, my name is Dalitso Mvula from the University of Zambia. I am currently serving there as the Minister of Education and Academic Affairs. Yeah.
Right. That's huge.
And hi, my name's Mampi Wamuwi. I'm from the University of Zambia as well. I'm currently serving as Minister of Gender, Ethics and Integrity and so many other portfolios, but that one I could say is keeping me more busy in the line of politics.
All right. So how is this? Because sometimes people look at it from outside and think, oh, maybe that's not politics. It's just in school. Why did you decide to participate? Why in student politics? Because those are you went to elections. So please just tell us, what's the process like? How do you get to those positions, and why did you decide to do it? I'll start with you.
Well, personally, why I decided to jump into the University of Zambia Student Union elections is because I experienced a time where I had no one to represent me when I was appealing for bursary, and we were quite a number, and I thought to myself, okay, fine, I'll represent my friends now. And we managed to succeed, and we proceeded with attending the bursaries. And I thought to myself, okay, fine, if I can do this for a small number of people, what more can I do for a huge number of people? I'm like, we all start small. And I thought to myself, okay, fine, let's do this. Let's go further. But truth be told, it's really, really draining. Standing for the union elections is draining. And being in the actual union is much worse. Though the procedure, just the process itself, from you deciding to stand for those elections and you getting into office is really, really, really stressful. Yeah.
And you?
I personally feel union or school politics is a springboard for politics outside there. So for one to get the office out there or get the bigger positions out there, you need some sort of experience. And I lie to you not, union politics, it feels just like the actual politics. The tense, the pressure, the temptations, so many experiences can be relatable to the outside world.
Before we get into the actual issues, because I know you are Minister for Gender and you Education, so I know there are probably quite a number of issues that you deal with in that regard. But maybe let's look at the actual. How do you get there? And maybe let's look at the gender. How many women are on the in the union, in the final union, and then maybe before that you contest, right? You contest the election. How many women participate at that level? And then what was it like for you? And what does it take to really get there?
So, last year's election, okay, the final union, we currently have 5 females in the union. And this is the first time we're having a huge number of females in the union out of 15. But then you can imagine that's
it's
just
not even half.
It's not even half of it.
Right.
But then it's better than what was before, because before that we would have 1 female in the union, maximum 2, but mostly it was 1. From all the time that I've been at UNZA, we only had 1 person one female in the union.
What do you think discouraged women from participating?
I think UNZA is very patriarchal. And trust me, they would even tell us to say, if you stood for higher positions, we wouldn't have voted for you. There are such setbacks, and also The effort. Some people are not really consistent. They don't really want that whole thing. I'm a pretty lady. I can't walk in a. I used to wear an orange overall. I definitely never used to look pleasing. You can't walk around. You look stupid. You have to sing for people. Things like that. But then it's what comes with the job, and not everybody is willing to make themselves look like a fool, and because they also think it's a 50-50 thing. Should I really do this? And also there's this aspect of boys. There's the way boys behave at school. They want you to dance for them, for you to be voted into power. But that's something I never did. I told them, you can keep your vote, it's okay. I'd rather lose than lose my dignity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for you, like she said, so not so many women have participated in elections or have held positions in the union. What made you choose to go into the election? But also, what was your experience like? Yeah, and what kept you going?
Personally, Anna, I love to be a trendsetter and pave way for other females. I can assure you, my last elections has given so many females in UNZA right now to aspire for different offices. As my comrade spoke over here, she said, UNZA has this patriarchal system, which is very true. You can't aspire for certain positions. Even if I went today to say I want to go for president, they'll be like, girl, are you sure? Who's going to vote for you? Females themselves will tell you that. And yes, guys will ask you to do so many crazy things that are not of your moral standard. It's up to you to sit back and think twice about it. Like, this is not of my kind. So just because of the office, can I do this? Then what am I doing it for? I gain the office without dignity.
Right. Oh, yeah. And interestingly, we named the title of this episode is The Realities of Female Participation in Politics. And in this essence, really young people, young women like yourselves. Because like you said, you are student politics, but that's like the breeding ground for national politics. I also know that in campus, there's a lot of political party youth wings, and that's where most young people are trained from. We know of a lot of senior political leaders that have come from these youth wings, that have come from student politics. So, how have you found the transition? How do you relate with national politics and governance?
Yes, I do, because that's where I learned from. That's like the basis of my political aspirations, because you can't really do something without relating it to the main source. And for me, it's about learning. This is a stage of learning, and trust me, UNZA is as good as its constituency. And for me, if I manage to attend my win at the University of Zambia, then I can definitely go in a ward and attend my win too. So it's really, really a good bed for learning,
All right. And you, like, how do you relate with like national politics? Do you find a relation between the work that you're doing and how you can then springboard where you're from into going into national politics?
Yes, I do. Reason being is that there's so many issues you have to represent. I know most people may view student politics or UNZA as a small community, but then here's a young girl, probably representing people that are way older than her. We have fourth years, we have first years younger than her, but the majority. So if you're able to at least represent a small number, then it means you can at least build on that courage to represent a bigger number outside there.
You brought in a good aspect of representation, and I think that's an important aspect. Why have like female representation? You talked about the union only having, which is now a big milestone, that you have 5 now, and before there was barely any. But what do you think, what's the benefit that has come with having at least more, now you're saying 5 females represented in the union versus not having any? But also, why should you have more women representation, for example, in national politics?
I think for a start, I'll go directly to the thing that affects us the most. There are people that are ahead of you, and when somebody has more experience than than you in a particular field, they want to orient you.
Right.
But sometimes it comes at a price. And the price tag is way too high, if you ask me. You'll find that you meet a person that will tell you, no, I can help you grow your ambition. I can help you get there. Oh, thank you so much. But, we need to help each other. And you know what I mean? If we have more females on top, especially in national politics, if we have more females there, we would at least have more safe spaces.
Right.
We'll be able to create more safe spaces. And then the other thing is, you can't go up as a female. Here, just where I am, I've been told already, no, you slip your way to the top. What top are we even talking about? This is just on Zasu, And if people can say such things about you when you're just starting at school level, what more remarks are you going to get? There's always this attachment to women in politics being prostitutes, and it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we have more females, we'll run away from that, because somebody can say, no, that the woman that helped me come up is that lady, and she's been in politics for a long time. So the safe spaces will increase. For me, that's like the major thing, and it's something that I'd really love to see to come to reality.
Safe, we need more women in the space,
Yes.
and more young women. Very, very interesting. And for you, Mampi, the actual, the realities that she's talking about, the challenges that the negative stereotypes, how have those affected you, and how do you overcome them?
I personally feel these stereotypes come once you get a bigger position in office, because before Unzasu, my life was quiet. But as soon as I joined Unzasu, you hear rumors left, right, center of certain things that you're like, are you sure you're talking about me? So yes, we actually do need a lot of female representation out there, not just in student politics or just politics, because we also encourage younger girls out there to say life is not just about you get your degree and get married. You can actually be out there. You can be the voice of the voiceless. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like now to talk about, some of what are the actual issues that pertain to young people, but as well young women. You talked about you being Minister of Gender in university. What are some of the challenges that the different genders face, but also that you deal with, for example, on a daily? What's your agenda? What's your actual agenda in that?
So the Ministry of Gender is quite sensitive, because it may have sensitive issues to do with females and sensitive issues to do with males, and we do not want to forget the aspect of integrity and ethics. So I must, in every step I make, and however I handle a case, I must make sure the integrity of the school and the ethics are still upheld. So when you look at the females' perspective, mostly females have challenges around SRHs, sexual reproductive health. As she earlier stated, you have harassment even as you're aspiring for positions. So it's not just in the political space, even in the classes, you get harassed maybe by your lecturers, by your fellow students, and harassment may not always be sexual. It may be verbal. Yeah.
No, that's true. So those are real issues. Those are the realities that you deal with at student board level, but also at national level. You were talking about challenges if you want to aspire in politics. There's issues of harassment, stereotyping, and all that you have to deal with. So how would do you think there's enough representation? Or even at national level, do you feel these issues are being addressed? And I know that you are activists, because your work then now needs to take you to be able to advocate and lobby for change at national level for many of these things to be addressed. So tell me, what's some of your roles, the work that you do around advocacy for the issues that you're dealing with? Yeah.
Okay, so okay. Personally, I'd like to refer to something that happened to me. There's this guy that was constantly coming to my room, verbally harassing me, threats and all that stuff. But I took the step. I didn't even care. I just said, I'm reporting you to the police. And I took that step and the guy got arrested. And I set that as an example. Of course, I got some backlash. No, how can you get your fellow student arrested and all that? But that guy has been doing that for a long time. And even when I posted that article, a lot of females were able to respond to it saying, it's true, you've done well. This thing has been happening to us for a long time. So that was action in itself as an advocate, you know. And some other things, okay, mostly I usually encourage people to speak out, but unfortunately not everybody can come out and give out their story, because certain things are too sensitive, and we just know how our culture is. Our culture usually limits girls from expressing what they've gone through. We find that if a person was raped, they can't even come out to say they've been raped, because who's going to marry her? They say, I can't marry a damaged good. I asked one of my friends, would you marry me if I got raped? He said, I can't marry a damaged good. So how am I supposed to come out if something bad happens to me? There was a young lady, unfortunately, she just called me, she told me what happened to her, but she couldn't reveal names, and the story just died out like that. And there was nothing I could do about it, because I had to respect her privacy. But going onwards, I just kept on talking about this thing, talking about the importance of opening up, and talking about educating the boy child about the importance of respecting females. Just a no is a no. It doesn't matter whether it's a kiss, it's what. A no is a no, and respect boundaries. And also, females, I've been advocating for females being able to say no, because sometimes the problem is that people are failing to say no. Somebody is telling you this. You have the right to say, I'm uncomfortable, but you want to stay there until things escalate, until you can't do anything about it. When you say no, at least you tried to say no. That's a starting point. Yeah.
Right. These are the realities, yeah? The realities that you face. So what's your advice to young women facing the different challenges? Look what you're going through. How do you, first of all, encourage someone to enter a space like the one that you're in? We talked about ensuring that more women come to the space. Mm-hmm. But also, how do we start to then now change, shift the narratives? But in terms of, if you were to have positions, for example, you go into national politics and you hold a position, whether it's a minister of gender at national level, whether you became president, you became vice president. Like, what changes would you be able to create to be able to address the challenges that you see now or that you're experiencing now as young women?
My advice for young girls out there aspiring for politics is, if you can't beat them, join them. So have the courage of a man. Don't look at yourself as, I'm a girl, I'm in a dress. Look, even though you're wearing a dress, look at yourself as, I'm wearing pants. I'm in a tuxedo. So I'll have the courage of a man. I'll take up this office as a man can take up the office. So young girls should be courageous. They shouldn't look at the other stories and experiences that other women have had. The stereotypes, yes, it's part of it. It just has to make you stronger. Those have to be your stepping stones. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
personally, I would say, girl, learn. Knowledge is power. When you know your rights, you will know what boundaries to set. This is one thing I always say, and this is why I'm passionate about education.
Right.
And that's why I stood for the position of education. And knowledge is power. If I know my rights, I will know what boundaries, and I will know what to do next if somebody oversteps those boundaries. And then I would say, be tough-skinned. People will talk. Whether you're doing nothing, they'll say you're useless. If you're doing something, you feel yourself. There's always that. And when it comes to friendships, especially friendships, please try your best to not take it personal if your friends are not supportive. Find people, get engaged with people that are share similar goals with you. People that share similar aspirations with you, so that it makes your work easy. Even when you tell those people you're busy, they understand, no, you're busy. They know you're doing something productive. And if you don't choose to take it up yourself today, nobody will. And you will live to regret it that you didn't try. It's really important to try. Even if I lost the elections last year, I would still sit today boldly and say, I tried. And it was a learning experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also important to just get up and go again. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
get
and
up, go
Yeah.
again. We receive a lot of comments. Every day you
Right.
go on Facebook, you find, you're useless, you're not worth it, you shouldn't have been here. You know, there are people that love you, that appreciate you, that know
Yeah,
you're trying your
yeah.
best. And there are people that just will never see any good in you.
Right.
And that's just the nature of life.
Mm,
So you're better off sitting and having people say all those things about you, but you're trying something
Yeah.
rather than just sitting, having people say negative things about you, yet you're not doing anything.
creating change.
Step out of the box,
Right.
think outside the box, do everything outside the box. We are only young ones, and this is the only chance we have to make youthful mistakes,
Right.
learn from our mistakes, and grow from them.
Takes a lot of courage. It takes
Yeah.
it's really, the mantle is in everyone's hands.
Yeah.
Look at these two brilliant young ministers taking out the. I mean, that's very encouraging. That's very encouraging, and I think there's a lot of nuggets of wisdom in terms of, like, everybody has to take up the mantle. I mean, you can't sit and be comfortable where you are, and if we want to create sustainable change, we need to do something about it. We need to do things now, so that the challenges that we're facing now, that you have gone through, girls that will come 10, 20 years from now shouldn't have to face the same, because things have changed. So, like, what's your ideal world, or in terms of, like, Zambia, like, what's the Zambia you want to see?
The Zambia I'd like to see is one that is blind in terms of gender. Let people get the space according to how, that drive and aspiration and how they carry themselves. We shouldn't say, oh, she's a girl, or we'll dig out her dirty laundry and say she once made these mistakes. If I'm here to say I want to make change, I have a past, because everyone has a past, but I'm here to say I want to be a new face, I want to paint a new picture to not just the current generation, but the generation to come, then let me be as that.
Right.
Do not follow up what I did 5 years ago. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I mean, there's a lot. We see this, right? Part of the
Yes.
reality is that with actual politics, no matter how well a woman is doing, women are accomplished, she's done a lot, but the moment she wants to stand for office or is in the public, then people want to start nitpicking and trying to dig history, sometimes even fabricating stories about that person. So really, we need tough skin. But like you said, I think that's powerful. A Zambia that's blind, gender blind, that both women and men can be given equal opportunities, can be seen in the same light without having to drag one gender down or not. That's nice. And you, Dalitso?
I really couldn't agree more with my colleague here. That's all we need. I feel we need. I would love to see a Zambia that won't feel that the other gender is threatening the other gender, because now it seems every time a woman tries to do something, most men feel threatened. Because the other time I was actually just having a normal conversation with someone, and then they go like, I don't like assertive people. I don't like assertive women. I wouldn't want to marry an assertive woman like you. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But then I would love to see all that going, I know we can't have a perfect world, but if we can have a world where people are also picked because of their qualifications, because there are qualified women out there, there are qualified men out there. We also just don't want to see a space where we're being given spaces as females just because we are females. No, but we want to be given spaces because we are competent females. We have competent men, we have competent females.
We
so
have competent women right here.
Agreed.
Who are running ministries at the highest learning institution in Zambia.
Yes.
I mean, that's competence. I couldn't agree more. I think Zambia is like far ready. I mean, we have young women like yourselves that have taken up the mantle, and it's important, I think, like we have said and emphasized, that more women take up the space. Everybody can have the courage that you have. Absolutely brilliant. And any words about your YOWOP? What has been your experience in the Young Women in Politics program so far? Yeah, just to close.
I'm most fortunate to be part of YOWOP, because you get to hear people's stories and you build on them. Like, you learn from people's mistakes and learn people's experiences. You learn different paths and different ideologies. most likely.
You forgot to say that I shared the link with you. To apply.
No, that's a very that's
Yes.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
Women should be able to share opportunities,
exactly.
collaboration, like bringing. If we say more young women should come into politics, should take up the mantle. You need to reach out. It's important to
Yes.
reach out. So sharing opportunities. So we commend you for that. And please, let's continue to do that. And which is the essence of the podcast also, that more young women can be able to see the courage that you have, you know, and be able and know that they can do it too. Also, nobody is special. No one was born with a mark for leadership.
True.
But everybody is a leader where they are. Yeah, great stuff.
Okay,
Yeah?
I think I'll just start from there because we have about five people that I shared the link with, and they were picked for the program.
Wow.
And I was very happy to see that, and I was just very happy that they took it up to themselves. They took it personal. They took the opportunity seriously. So in as much as we will be sharing opportunities with our fellow females, I just urge everyone out there to not look at something as too small or too big, because mostly youths are usually picky. The first thing they ask is there a transport refund?
Yeah.
Things like that. That's a drawback. It's a drawback. But personally, from YOWOP, I've learned how to compose myself. I've learned how to carry myself in a more professional way, because there was this storytelling session that we had, and it was really amazing. I can now tell my stories in a very confident manner. Yeah, and I just realized that I can tell my story without actually writing. I can give it out.
Yeah,
with
because
an
it's your
audio.
story. It's your
Yeah. So it's really been an amazing experience, and not forgetting the networking part.
Right.
I've gotten to know brilliant and amazing young women around that space, and I can safely say that YOWOP is a very safe space for us young women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It's been great chatting with you. I wish you the best, and I can't wait to see you grab those ministerial positions at national level. I mean, that's a good starting ground where you are, and I hope that you take use of that opportunity to learn, but also to serve the members of your community, which is UNZA. Thank you very much. It's been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody for watching. This was the podcast episode of the Young Women in Politics program. Look out for the next episode coming soon. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. And see you next time.